Welcome to Performance Management. As always, I would like to start with two quotes which are closely connected to performance management. One is from Tom Peters, a best-selling author on Search of Excellence, who said, "What gets measured gets done." And the second, and you already know this person, Peter Drucker, who said, "If you can't measure it, you can't improve it." Those two quotes perfectly reflect on the core of performance management. But before we start on this, as always, we look back to our last lecture. So last lecture, we talked about the recruiting process, about the consequential costs, which could be really huge in terms of failure by recruiters. We talked about job postings and the clear understanding of core competencies. And then we said everyone is biased. You cannot avoid that, but you can do at least your best to reduce the risk as much as possible. And we said that one way of reducing this risk is to have a structured behavior-based interview. And I presented to you the interview technique called STAR. And unfortunately, Petra and Anne couldn't perform, but I don't want to take this opportunity. So I would like to hand over to Petra and Anne for this. Yeah?
We couldn't manage to interview ourselves during the last session, but now we have a chance. Thank you very much for joining us today. Me and Tan, we prepared this kind of a brief presentation. And before we start the interview, we would like to have a brief recap on what does STAR technique stand for. So STAR behavioral interview technique is a format of face-to-face job interview that is widely used by a hiring manager in order to gather all the relevant data on the candidate-specific capabilities. And I would like to ask Anne to proceed with more details on that.
So basically, STAR, each letter stands for something. S for situation, T for task, A for action, and R for result. Moving on to the next slide. So situation stands for to describe the event or the situation that you were in. Task is basically explaining the task you had to do or complete during that situation. And then you describe the specific action you took to complete the task, which is really important. And also at the end, you have to mention the result. Hi, Mr. Peter, welcome to your interview. Could you tell me some things about yourselves to start with?
Yeah, my name is Peter. I'm 37 years old. I came from sunny Uzbekistan. I did my bachelor's in computer science, and currently I am studying my master's in Lauder business school.
That's nice. I see in your CV that you have been working in the project management field. What projects have you been working on?
So I've been working on a vast amount of projects during my career. So more or less it was related with the oil and gas and construction industry. Yeah.
Interesting. So now, tell me about a time when at your work you were criticized by a supervisor.
Yeah. Okay. So I can recall one case. So when I just started out my career in the field, and my line manager asked me to elaborate on the feasibility of the project and hand out the relevant report to him. So my job was to collect the relevant data and based on that, estimate the feasibility of the project. I managed to work out a comprehensive study on the issue and eventually reported to my manager. And after a while, he called me and pointed out the like mistakes that I've made in the report and what was wrong with it. So luckily, he came up with a very positive and constructive feedback and indicated where I missed out some very critical aspects in the report and asked me to be more attentive when it comes to details. I followed his advice as a result and managed to figure out the missing elements that were crucial in the estimate. And eventually, I managed to follow up on my report, and it was successfully accepted by my line manager.
Very well done. Thank you a lot, Anne and Patri. Mission successfully completed. Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, full points. I really appreciate it. As I said before, that you prepared not only for 2 but for 6 interviews, and you gave us the choice. Yeah, and it was perfectly prepared. Thank you a lot. Yeah, also from my side. Yeah. So the question to all of you, why should we care about performance management and why does it matter? Yeah. So the reason why we have it as a topic and why it is a crucial thing in theory and research, it's about understanding actually behavior in organizations and connected to this, it affects more or less our whole professional life, meaning the working conditions, employee relationships, leadership. Leadership is closely connected to the topic of performance management. So if you become a leader, at the end, you will be accountable for the performance of your team. Yeah? So performance management will be part, however you call it, whatever, what kind of resources and methods are used. It will be a part of professional life. Even when you talk about bonus payments, incentive systems, it's all connected to performance management at the end. And now you will see some repeating slides we already discussed in organizational behavior, and that's why I'm just flipping over them. You know the origins of performance management. It's more or less given by the scientific management, Frederick Taylor, so the time of mass production, division of labor. And in the 50s, there was Peter Drucker, who is more or less the father of the modern management theory. And actually, Peter Drucker also was the person proposing and implementing the management by objective system. You know, motivation and performance is a big topic of organizational behavior. I'm not repeating this because we discussed this during the whole semester last time. At the right side, you see this kind of management functions given by circle: planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And actually, to be honest, this was more or less written in the 50s or 60s, last century. And almost all organizations still work in this way. Yeah? So who has kind of an objective setting in his or her company at the moment? Has anyone experienced objective setting already?
Yeah, it's something that I often need to write down.
Is it good working with objectives, actually? Does it help?
Yes, it's helpful. It's helpful. It's the thing is you cannot like there are objectives, but you actually have to break them down into tasks. Otherwise, it's very hard to execute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll come to this. Yeah, so objective setting and the way how it is usually done in traditional organizations. We constantly had these discussions, not only during the objective setting process, but also especially when it then comes to the objective review process. Imagine there is an impact which was not influenced by the employee. Let's take the pandemic.
Yeah, COVID-19.
COVID, and you cannot reach your objectives. And you know that your bonus payments are directly linked to the achievement of the goals. Yeah.
Let's imagine the tourism industry in a pandemic.
Yeah. So and clearly there were some companies who changed the process, but also who stick to this. Yeah. I once had a boss who said because I didn't reach my goals for other reasons, and he always said then, well, yeah, you didn't reach your goals, and I'm sure it was not your fault, but these are entrepreneurial windfalls. Sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. Yeah. But it's not motivating, knowing that you can't influence the goal. Yeah. That's something you should take in mind when you use objective setting.